Hey, welcome to Chat Easy.
Yeah, English without the stress.
So Blake just walked in. He looks a little worried. His face is doing that thing where you know something awkward just happened. What's going on?
Okay, so I just told my boss I would finish the report tomorrow. She looked at me really strangely. Then she asked if there was a problem. I have no idea what I said wrong, but her face completely changed.
Oh no! Wait, what did you actually mean to say? Like, what were you trying to tell her?
I meant I was definitely going to finish it. I already started it this morning. Everything is fine. I just wanted to say the report will be ready tomorrow, but now she thinks something is wrong and I do not even know why.
Okay, I know exactly what happened. Your boss probably thought you were unsure, or maybe she thought something might stop you from finishing, because would sounds conditional. It sounds like maybe yes, maybe no.
This keeps happening to me. Every single time someone asks me about plans or the future, I freeze. I do not know which word is safe to use. Will, going to, would, they all sound the same to me. But people always look confused when I speak.
I completely understand. 2 years ago, I told my neighbor, I will water your plants while you're gone. She came back to dead plants. I meant it as a hypothetical offer, not a real promise. She was so upset with me.
Wait, seriously? These 3 tiny words actually change whether people trust you or not?
Yes, absolutely. Will, going to, and would sound almost identical to beginner ears, but native speakers hear completely different levels of commitment, certainty, and intention in each one. It changes everything.
Can you help me finally understand the difference? I am so tired of people looking confused when I speak.
That is exactly what we are going to do right now, step by step, using real mistakes and real situations, so it finally makes sense and sticks. Okay, tell me exactly what happened in the conversation with your boss. Let's start from a real example. What did she say to you?
She called me into her office this morning. She asked when the quarterly report would be ready. I had already been working on it since yesterday, and I planned to finish it tomorrow. So I said I would finish it tomorrow. I thought that sounded polite and clear.
And then what happened?
She paused. She looked at her calendar for a few seconds. Then she asked, "Is there something preventing you from finishing it?" I felt my face get hot. I realized she thought I was unsure or making excuses, but I was actually completely certain.
That one word made your boss question your reliability, even though your intention was the total opposite. You wanted to sound confident, but the word you chose made you sound hesitant.
It felt terrible. I am normally very dependable. I always finish my work on time. But my English made me sound weak, like I was not sure if I could do it.
I had a similar moment during my first month at my English-speaking job. My manager asked me to attend a meeting on Friday. I already had it in my calendar. I had cleared my entire schedule for it, so I confidently said, I will be there. I thought I sounded strong and certain.
But something went wrong.
She sent me 2 reminder emails that week. Both emails asked if I was still coming. I could not understand why she kept asking, until a co-worker gently told me that I will be there can sound like a casual guess rather than a firm commitment.
Wait, what should you have said instead?
I am going to be there, because that shows the decision is already made and locked in. It tells the listener you have already planned it in your mind.
I never knew such a small change could send such a different message. These words all sound the same to me.
That is the problem. These words feel interchangeable when you're learning, but they paint completely different pictures in the listener's mind. Different levels of certainty, different levels of commitment.
I am ready to stop guessing. I want to finally learn the real difference.
Let's start with the word that caused your problem this morning. Would. Most beginners think would is just a polite version of will, but it actually does something totally different.
Wait, really? I definitely thought it was just the nicer sounding option, like more formal or respectful. What does it actually do?
Would creates distance. It is the word you use when you are imagining something, being polite, or describing something that depends on a condition that may not be real. It pushes the idea away from reality.
I'm not sure I understand. Can you give me an example?
Sure, if I had a car, I would drive to work. I do not have a car, so this is purely imaginary. The would tells you I'm talking about a situation that doesn't exist right now.
Okay, that makes sense for hypothetical situations, but why did my boss react badly when I said I would finish the report tomorrow? That wasn't imaginary. I was planning to actually do it.
By using would, you accidentally made it sound like there might be an obstacle or a condition you hadn't mentioned yet, like I would finish it tomorrow if nothing goes wrong, or I would finish it tomorrow if you still need it. You created invisible doubt.
No. No wonder she asked if there was a problem. I basically implied something might stop me. I was trying to sound confident, but I did the exact opposite.
Exactly. That's why would is dangerous when you are trying to show commitment or make a promise. It plants a seed of uncertainty in the listener's mind.
So when is would actually the right choice? When should I use it?
It shines in 3 situations: hypothetical thinking, polite requests, and past habits. Let me start with hypothetical. Anytime you are imagining a scenario that is not currently real, you use would. For example, what would you do if you won the lottery? Or, I would love to visit Iceland someday.
Those sound natural. I can hear that they are about dreams or possibilities, not actual plans. They are not things I'm doing tomorrow.
Right. Now, polite requests. Would softens your ask and makes it sound respectful rather than demanding. Compare will you help me, which is direct and almost pushy, to would you help me, which feels much gentler. You're giving the person space to say no.
I've definitely heard that difference in tone. Would sounds like you're asking permission, not expecting something.
Exactly. And would can also describe repeated actions in the past, like, when I was a child, I would visit my grandmother every Sunday. It's a memory of something that happened regularly in the past.
Wait, that's not even about the future. I thought we were talking about future tense.
I know. Would is flexible and context dependent. That's why it confuses learners so much. It does different jobs depending on the sentence.
Okay, what about will? I thought that was the safest, most basic future word. Like the one you use when you don't know what else to say.
Will is common and useful, but it has a specific personality. It's best for spontaneous decisions you make in the moment of speaking and for predictions or beliefs about the future. Let me give you an example. Imagine we're sitting in a cafe right now, and you suddenly realize you forgot your wallet.
Okay, I'm imagining it. That's definitely happened to me before.
I immediately say, "Don't worry, I'll pay for your coffee." That feels natural, right? Because I didn't plan to pay before that moment. I decided right then in the conversation.
Oh, will captures that instant decision-making energy. You weren't thinking about it before I mentioned my wallet. You decided in the moment.
Exactly. Now, predictions, think of weather forecasts. It will probably rain tomorrow. You're not certain, you're just making an educated guess based on what you believe. You don't have a crystal ball.
I've said things like, the meeting will be boring, or she'll like this gift. Are those good uses of will?
Perfect uses, because they're predictions, not concrete plans. You're guessing based on your feelings or experience, not based on a decision you already made.
Okay, here is the big question. What is the difference between will and going to? Because I have been using them interchangeably my whole life. They sound like they mean the same thing to me.
This is the key that unlocks everything. Going to is what you use when the decision or plan already existed before the conversation started, or when there is visible evidence that something is about to happen. It shows preparation or certainty.
Can you give me an example, a real one that I might actually use?
Sure. Imagine I woke up this morning and decided I was going to cook pasta for dinner tonight. If you asked me at lunch what my dinner plan is, I say, I am going to cook pasta, because the decision is already made. It existed in my mind before you asked.
That is different from will, because will would sound like you are deciding right now in the conversation.
Exactly. I will cook pasta would mean I just decided in this moment, not that I planned it earlier. The timeline is completely different.
Oh, wow. This is huge. Now I understand why my boss wanted to hear I am going to finish it tomorrow instead of I would finish it tomorrow. The first shows the plan is already in motion. The second sounds uncertain and conditional.
You just unlocked the core principle. That is it. Going to equals already planned. Will equals deciding now or predicting. Would equals imaginary or conditional.
I wish someone had explained it like this years ago.
There is more. Going to also works when you can see evidence that something is definitely about to happen. Let me give you an example. If I look out the window and see massive dark clouds rolling in, I say it is going to rain, because the evidence is right there in front of me.
And if you said it will rain, that would be different?
A little bit. It will rain is more of a belief or guess without necessarily seeing proof. It's going to rain means you can sense it coming. You can see the clouds, feel the wind, smell the moisture in the air.
I never thought about that evidence angle before. So native speakers unconsciously choose going to when they can see or sense something coming.
Exactly. And will when they are just predicting or believing based on opinion or general knowledge. It's a subtle bit, but it's there.
Are there situations where will and going to both work, like where they mean basically the same thing?
Yes, sometimes in casual speech they overlap, especially with predictions. I think the movie will be good, and I think the movie is going to be good, are very close in meaning, but there's still a tiny difference.
What is the tiny difference?
Going to often implies you have some reason or evidence for your expectation, like maybe you saw the trailer or read reviews. Will is more of a pure opinion, just a feeling you have.
These tiny shades of meaning are what I have been missing my whole life. No wonder native speakers always sound so certain and clear.
By the way, I still catch myself making mistakes with these even after years of practice. Last week, I was texting a friend about weekend plans and wrote, I will visit the museum on Saturday, but I had already bought tickets on Thursday. My friend replied, Oh, you are thinking about it?
Because will made it sound spontaneous and uncertain.
Exactly, when I actually had a solid plan. I should have said, I am going to visit the museum on Saturday.
That makes me feel less alone. Even advanced speakers mix these up. It's not just me being slow or bad at English.
The difference is that now I notice and self-correct, and that awareness is what builds real fluency. You start to hear yourself before you speak.
Hey, have you ever promised someone you would do something and they looked at you like they did not believe you? It might not have been your intention that was the problem. It might have been the word you chose.
That's not about being a bad English speaker. It's just about understanding the invisible signals these words send, the tiny emotional flavors that native speakers feel but rarely explain.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And suddenly your English sounds not just correct, but trustworthy and clear. Before we go further, I want to make sure we're both clear on some of the key words that came up, because a few of them are pretty important to understanding this whole topic, like really important.
Good idea. Locking in these meanings will make everything else easier. Let's start with spontaneous. That means something you do suddenly, without planning it ahead of time, like he made a spontaneous decision to buy the flowers.
That's the whole vibe of will. You decide in the moment. It's instant, not planned. Okay, what about commitment? That one came up a lot.
Commitment means a promise or strong intention to do something. Example, she showed her commitment by finishing the project early. Going to carries much more commitment than will in most cases. It sounds locked in.
Makes sense. What about hypothetical? That word feels a bit fancy to me.
Hypothetical refers to a situation that is imagined or based on conditions that might not be real. Like, in a hypothetical world, I would be a pilot. It's not real right now, it's just an idea you're playing with in your mind.
That's the heart of wood. It lives in imagination. Okay, here's another one. Evidence. That word came up when you were talking about clouds and rain.
Evidence means visible proof or clear signs that something is true or about to happen. Example, the evidence suggests the train will be late. When you see evidence, you use going to, like it's going to snow when you see dark clouds forming above you.
I like that. It makes sense. What about intention? That feels connected to commitment.
Intention is your plan or purpose to do something. Example, her intention is to start her business next year. Going to shows intention clearly because the decision is already made in your mind. It is not just a wish, it is a plan.
Okay, this one is a bit tricky. Conditional. I hear that word a lot in grammar explanations, but I'm never totally sure what it means.
Conditional means something depends on another thing happening first. Example, his answer is conditional on getting approval. Would often appears in conditional sentences, like I would go if I had time. The if part creates the condition.
So would loves conditions. It thrives there. What about prediction? That one seems simple, but I want to be sure.
Prediction is a guess or forecast about what will happen in the future. Example, my prediction is that he will win the game. Will is often used for predictions based on belief rather than hard evidence. It is more about what you think, not what you know for sure.
That makes total sense. Oh, here's a big one. Reliability. That word came up when we were talking about my boss.
Reliability means you can be trusted to do what you say you will do. Example, his reliability makes him a great teammate. The words you choose affect how reliable you sound to others. Even if your actions are reliable, your words might send the wrong signal.
That is exactly what happened to me. What about certainty?
Certainty means being completely sure about something. Example, she spoke with certainty about her plans. Going to signals more certainty than will. It sounds like you know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, another one. Obstacle. That word came up when you were explaining why my boss got confused.
Obstacle is something that blocks or makes it harder to achieve your goal. Example, the biggest obstacle was the weather.
Using would can accidentally suggest an obstacle exists, even if you don't mean to. It plants doubt.
Right. And what about tone? I think I know what it means, but I want to hear your version.
Tone refers to the feeling or attitude expressed in your words. Example, her tone was warm and friendly. Would creates a softer, more polite tone than will. It gives the listener space. It sounds gentler.
These words aren't just vocabulary, they are tools that help you understand why native speakers choose one future word over another, like the deeper logic behind it all.
Exactly. And now we can move forward with confidence because we're all speaking the same language now.
Okay, now comes the part that actually matters. We are not just learning words today, we are learning how to use them in real moments, where people are watching you and listening carefully. Blake, this is where it gets personal, right?
Yes, I want to walk through scenarios that feel real, like a little bit stressful, because those are the exact moments when I freeze and my brain just stops working. You know that feeling?
Oh, I know it. All right, let us start with a work situation. Imagine your manager asks you in a meeting if you can prepare a presentation for next Monday. You already blocked time in your calendar this weekend to work on it. You have the outline ready on your laptop. What do you say?
I would say I'm going to have it ready by Monday morning, because I want to sound professional and committed, like the plan is already happening in my head, not like I'm deciding right now in front of everyone.
That is exactly right. You're showing the plan is already in motion. You're not just thinking about it. If you said, I will have it ready, it might sound like you're deciding on the spot, and your manager might feel a little less confident in you.
Oh, wow, yeah. And if I said I would have it ready by Monday, the manager might think there is a hidden condition, like I'm waiting for something else to happen first. That would create doubt.
Exactly. Now, let me give you a social scenario. Imagine a friend invites you to dinner on Friday night. You check your schedule right there in the conversation, and you realize you're free. You decide immediately to go. What do you say?
I would say, I will come. That sounds great. Because I'm making the decision in the moment of speaking, right?
Yes, it feels warm and spontaneous. But here's something interesting. If you already told yourself yesterday that you wanted to see this friend soon, and you were actually hoping for an invitation, then I'm going to come would show that this was already in your heart even before they asked.
Oh, I love that. Okay, let me bring up a tricky one. Imagine you're talking to a neighbor who asks if you can help them move some furniture this weekend, but you're not sure yet if you'll be available because you might have a family obligation. What do you say?
That's a careful moment.
I would probably say I would love to help if I'm free, because would leaves space for the condition. I'm being polite and honest without making a promise I might break later. If I used I will help in that moment, the neighbor would expect me for sure. And if I used I'm going to help, it would sound like I already confirmed my availability.
That is perfect. You're protecting the relationship and being clear at the same time. Now, let me add another layer. Imagine you're on a phone call with a friend who is upset and needs someone to talk to. In that moment, your heart tells you to be there for them. What do you say?
I would say, I will call you back in 10 minutes, or I will come over right now. Those feel right because they are immediate emotional responses, like my feelings are deciding, not my calendar.
Yes, the spontaneity of will actually makes it feel more caring in that context than a planned going to. The person feels your warmth in the moment.
Think about a conversation you had this week where you talked about something in the future. Maybe a plan, maybe an offer, maybe a dream. Which word did you use? Did the other person understand your intention the way you meant it?
If they seemed confused or asked you to repeat yourself, it might have been the word choice, not your accent or grammar. And that is actually good news.
Exactly. Because now you have the awareness to adjust, and that awareness is what separates beginners from people who actually sound natural and clear in English. Okay, I want to summarize everything we just covered because I feel like my brain finally clicked, and I want to make sure it stays locked in, you know?
That is a great idea. Repetition is what turns understanding into instinct. Let me start with would. Would is the word for imagination, politeness, and conditions. If you're talking about something that is not real, not certain, or depends on something else happening first, you reach for would. It is your safe, respectful choice.
Yeah, and would is also perfect when you're making a hypothetical offer, like, I would love to help. But it's dangerous when you're trying to show commitment, because it accidentally creates doubt. People hear would, and they think maybe, not definitely. Now, will is different. Will is best for spontaneous decisions you make right in the moment, and for predictions or beliefs about the future. It doesn't require a plan, it lives in the instant.
Yes, will works beautifully for quick offers, emotional responses, and guesses. But it can sound a little uncertain or casual when you actually have a solid plan already in place. Like if someone asks you about your weekend and you already booked your flights, will feels too loose. Now, going to is the word that shows intention, preparation, and evidence. If you already made the decision before the conversation, you use going to. If you can clearly see something is about to happen based on what's in front of you, you use going to.
Going to is the power move. It's what you use when you want people to trust you and know you're serious. Like when you say, I'm going to finish this project by Friday, people believe you because it sounds like the work is already happening in your head.
Exactly. It carries weight and certainty that the other two do not always deliver. That's why it feels so strong in professional situations.
If you have ever walked into a meeting, a conversation, or a social situation and used one of these words, you are already navigating real English in real time. You are doing it.
And every time you notice which word feels right in a moment, you are training your instinct to sound not just correct, but natural and trustworthy. That is what people respond to.
That is the kind of confidence that changes how people respond to you. It's not about sounding perfect, it's about sounding like yourself, but clearer.
It is not about perfection, it is about clarity. And clarity is something you build one conversation at a time.
Okay, I have one question for everyone watching, and I really want to hear answers because it will help me know if this actually made sense. Think about something you're planning to do this week. It could be work, personal, anything. Now, write a sentence in the comments using will, going to, or would, and tell us why you chose that word.
It does not need to be perfect or fancy. Just share your thinking, and we'll read it and learn from your examples too. We want to see how you're using these words in your real life. And if this conversation helped you finally see the difference between these three words, it would mean the world if you liked the video and subscribed. We want to keep making these kinds of practical, real situation breakdowns for you.
We're here because we've both lived through the confusion and frustration of not knowing which word to choose, and we want to make it easier for you. That's why we do this.
And if there's another English topic that trips you up or makes you freeze when you speak, drop it in the comments. We're always listening. Seriously, we read everything.
Thanks for sticking with us through this. I hope the next time you open your mouth to talk about the future, you feel just a little bit more sure. Even just 1% more confident makes a difference.
See you in the next one.